Evening, but on what's brewing today as AI reshapes the way software is built. One startup wants to make your code smarter, not just faster. Bangalore-based CodeKarma has raised $2.5 million in a pre-seed round led by Prosus, Accel and Exceed Ventures to build AI-native, self-improving software systems. Now, the company's platform helps developers spot bugs, eliminate dead code and optimize performance, all in real time directly within their workflow. With backing from global investors like Prosus, who see developer tools as critical infrastructure for the AI era, CodeKarma is setting its sights on the US enterprise market. So is this the future of autonomous software, and can India lead the charge? Joining me now to discuss this further, Ananth Vanchi, the CEO and founder of CodeKarma, and Dhruv Gupta, the investor at Prosus. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. You know, Ananth, let me start with you. You're aiming to build this platform for autonomous, self-improving software. What does that actually look like in practice for developers and engineering teams today? If you could sort of take us through what you have on offer.
Yeah, first of all, thanks a lot for having me here in Startup Street. It's very exciting to be on CNBC. CodeKarma, when we're trying, software is getting more complex by the day, and as we build more and more software using AI, it gets even more complex. Now, developers are going to find it a lot more difficult to manage this extremely large software, and then we need to actually have AI to come and help these developers to build these software better. Now, there is a lot of software that is AI is helping to build a lot of software from a static model, but when the software is actually deployed in production, there are very, very specific insights that are needed to improve the software as and when the software is getting built. And that is where CodeKarma comes in, where it builds a loop between getting the insights as to how things are getting built and feeding it back into the development lifecycle so that the software can be better over time, right? So that's kind of the idea.
Sure. And, what does this $2.5 million pre-seed round enable you to do immediately? And how are you prioritizing capital, between product innovation, hiring, expansion, all of these things that you have to do now?
Yeah, so software building is a very large spectrum. There are so many languages in which software is built. We have Java, Golang, Python, name it. And there is also a lot of libraries that needs to be supported. And they're also built and deployed in very different ways in very big enterprise companies. So having a self-fulfilling loop as a POC, as a small product for a single language, it's a lot more simpler. Whereas when you start doing it for a large spectrum, which actually adds value, takes a lot of product innovation. So a lot of this funding would be used for product innovation, and we cannot do product innovation in silos. We should also be able to work with the customers and get their input so that we build the right product. So we are trying to expand into different geographies so that we're able to acquire more customers with more use cases, and then start expanding the product use cases, product capabilities also.
Sure. So you're going to slowly and steadily build out the product and its use cases as well. But Dhruv, let me sort of bring you into this conversation. What convinced Prosus to back CodeKarma at such an early stage, right? And how did this sort of fit into your broader thesis around AI native developer tools?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thanks, CNBC team, for having us. I think, as Ananth mentioned, code written by AI systems is being deployed at an unprecedented scale, which the second order effect to which is that managing such code also becomes critically important. And CodeKarma is able to address this problem head on because they're able to provide this feedback loop, which Ananth spoke about, directly into the developer's workflow. And we were able to back the team because Ananth and team have a lot of experience at senior leadership roles in some of the largest Indian companies, and they have faced this problem personally and know how these systems behave. Hence, it was easy for us to lean into the problem and what CodeKarma was able to offer. As to Prosus's thesis, I think this fits right into what we are generally excited about. We have been very active and have been investing across the spectrum, whether it is enterprise software like CodeKarma or even consumer applications. In that sense, we believe that AI will lead to not just new features by existing companies, but entirely new categories. And hence, it was easy for us to foresee where the technology was going and how CodeKarma is able to solve for these second order, third order effects.
Sure. And, in fact, Dhruv, as this AI accelerates code generation, how do you see the role of these kinds of intelligence platforms, like CodeKarma, evolving within the Prosus tech ecosystem?
Yeah, exactly. And thanks for that question, because it's very important to how we operate as a firm. it's because we already have a large ecosystem of companies across LATAM, India, and Europe. It's very important that early stage frontier innovative companies like CodeKarma have exposure to them and are able to co-create some of these solutions. We'll also help CodeKarma in supporting them with the right ingredients, whether it is connecting them with our in-house AI team based out of Europe, or eventually make those connections with some of the decision makers. In that sense, CodeKarma could become very foundational to how code is being generated at some of these enterprise companies.
Sure. And Ananth, your company is very new. What's your go-to-market plan as you expand globally? And you're particularly eyeing, the US market, right? Are there specific enterprise verticals you're targeting first? What's the plan as you go to market?
Yeah, so not like particularly targeting US. We're also working. We have a good footprint in India, and we're also working with a lot of Indian companies. We are actually looking at large enterprise companies because this problem is more pronounced in large enterprise companies more than small scale companies, and large enterprise companies which have a lot of business logic in them. So anybody in the B2C space doing edutech, fintech, e-commerce, you name it, all the players in that space would have a lot of business logic, and they would also have a lot of complex systems working together to enable this functionality that they are trying to build. So all these companies are potential targets for us, and all these companies are also embracing AI at a very rapid pace because they also want to do product innovation at a rapid pace, which actually increases the reason for them to adopt CodeKarma, right? So so that's kind of the target company and target market space.
And how many clients have you already sort of onboarded at this point in time?
We are still very early. I don't want to share any major numbers, but we have a lot of big players in India already.
So a lot of big players in India already. All right, Dhruv, before I let both of you go, what's the overarching vision behind Prosus's diverse global portfolio? I mean, you'll have companies from Swiggy, PayU, Stack Overflow, and a lot of them across emerging AI native tools as well. And how do these investments sync with your growth strategy in markets like India and LATAM specifically?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we recently put out a report which talks about agentic AI. And it means that increasingly we will see a digital workforce which is able to interact and deploy with these other systems. Hence, we need a lot of governance, observability for these agents, which CodeKarma is able to provide. As for our portfolio, I think what we are able to also help such companies is that bring those insights and access to those markets where we already have a footprint. For example, in food delivery or payments or classifieds, all of these niches face different problems, and we believe that each of these niches can offer a lot of problems and opportunities for young companies to emerge, and we are in a position to back them in that way.
All right, Dhruv and Ananth, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street.
Thanks.